Hi, I'm Susan Thomas, and welcome to Behind the Bench. This is a show all about jewelry making, from the tools you need to the tricks of the trade. On this episode, the final step, finishing. So here we are in the jewelry shop again, and Tony is getting ready to cut the sprue off of this ring. The sprue are just those little pieces that are not supposed to be part of the ring, just where those channels of metal came through and shot all that liquid gold up into the places where the ring actually was supposed to be. He's cutting them off with a jeweler's saw on his bench pin, and then he's going to start smoothing all those places out using little sanders and different sanding and shaping tools. You can see he's being really careful here, just taking off just the sprue and making sure he doesn't cut into that ring band or mess up the shape of the ring. You can see here that he is using progressively finer sanding drums to remove the metal from the inside of the ring and also from the outside of the ring. Once it's done, he lets me try it on to see how things are going. Looks good. And now he is going to use a pretty aggressive file there to file down the outside of the ring and get the shape just right. Once he gets finished with the basic shape, he'll check it out, and then looks like he's going to check out and see how those stones are fitting, because he does have to remove some metal on the inside of where the ring will be bezeled, or the stones will be bezeled. So he puts these stones in there using a little piece of wax that's sticky, and see how it kind of pulls the stone in and out. And he's checking, and look at that. You see that stone sticking up just a little bit, so he knows he needs to remove just a tiny bit of metal to get that stone to sit in there just right. Tony's still not quite happy, so he's going to go back in there, and you can see as he turns the ring here in just a second, you will see, really, you almost can't even tell that any metal is being removed. Just tiny, tiny little bits of metal, so that that stone fits in there just perfectly. Now when he sets the stone down in there, you can see that it fits, and you really can see how much more level it is. Now we're going to clean up that ring using some steel shot in a magnetic tumbler. Now it's time for just a little bit more cleanup before we set the stones. He's using a graver to remove just a little more metal, and then also some sandpaper to polish up the outside. Here he's just using a small sanding wheel to get in some of those nooks and crannies that will be a little harder to get with some of the larger sanding devices. Now Tony's going to polish up the ring. He's polishing on the insides of the bezels first, and then he's going to take a polishing compound called rouge, and that is going to be used to do that pre-polish on the outside of the ring and on the inside of the ring. You can see he has a little bit of that rouge on his finger, and he just dips the polishing wheel into the rouge and then goes around the outside of the ring and cleans it up. Now he's stamping on the inside 18K and JTV. Perfect. Now we're going to continue polishing the ring. We're going to be using a much larger polisher with a sanding compound or a polishing compound called Tripoli. He has different sanding wheels for the inside and the outside of the ring, and smaller wheels for some of those little nooks and crannies that need to be polished up. Adding the Tripoli, polishing. That thing has some serious torque. He let me try it a little bit, but it was not easy to hold on to that ring. You can see here, Tony took back over. Now I'm doing the easy job. I'm dropping that ring down into the ultrasonic cleaner. And this is the last step before we start setting the stones.
We've cast and polished our ring, and now we're going to set the stones.
I thought this was incredibly brave. As you recall, Tony actually combined the metal he was going to use to set both stones, and now he has to use a jeweler's saw to cut it in half so that a little bit of the metal goes to one stone and a little bit goes to the other. Now he's just popping those stones back down in there using the wax, making sure they sit just perfectly. This is one of those times when I was watching thinking, boy, I tell you what, if you have the right tools, you can do this. But if he didn't have this incredible tiny little hammer to press this metal down over the edge of those stones, I don't know how he would have done this. And also, if he didn't have some pretty strong magnification, I don't know how he could have seen to do it. But he's actually using a little hammer on a handpiece to press the metal down around the outside of the stones. And you can even see the stones. See them, they're both moving right now, but as he continues to work, they stop moving, they stop that vibrating. You see the oval one going right there? And what he's looking for is for that stone to be set in there so it, of course, doesn't vibrate anymore. He just continues to go all the way around the outside of the stone. And there's that little space right there where the metal was split, and it was perfect. I actually kind of like how the little hammer marks look all the way around the outside of the bezel, but I'm pretty sure he cleans it up after this. Now he's cleaning up the inside all the way around the stones. You can see the look of concern on my face, but he has it all under control. And now we're doing a little more polishing with the polishing wheel around where he hammered down that metal. This has a little bit of a grit to it, so he is taking away just a little bit of metal and also polishing it up at the same time. Now we're back to the polisher. After he finishes this, he will have to clean this up to get any of that polishing compound that might have gotten around the stones out of the ring. Back into the ultrasonic, and this was fun. Steam cleaner. You always wonder how those jewelers get those rings so bright and shiny. Well, there you go, that's it. Take a look at that. Beautiful.
Thank you for watching Behind the Bench, and we'll see you next time.